RoundTable is, professionals in the real estate industry is more about business, but it's also trying to help the generation coming and also to ensure that as much as possible, some of those stories we think are just normal to us, we don't realize that it does a lot for others. So it's basically just impact, vulnerable conversation.
Luxury, in my opinion, is about how you make people feel, not just the aesthetics. It's how the people feel in your development. And I feel that developers that have positioned themselves for the long run, not just the quick in and out. With luxury, a lot of things might not necessarily make sense. It just feels good. It doesn't have to make financial sense right now, but it just feels good. It's a feel-good feature, and I think with luxury,
it's highly emotional.
Exactly. With luxury buyers, well, it's more about how they feel about it.
Hi guys, you're welcome to the Roundtable. Once again, vulnerable conversations, professionals in our industry, but particularly business generally. I have today a guest that is a good friend of mine, a professional to the core. His name is Delani Adewuyi. He is the Director, Professional Services, Marketing and Sales, CW, Lagos. Hi, Didi.
AJ, hi.
Didi, so I fondly call you Didi, but I just like to start from where we started from. It was a classroom of professionals and business owners,
right?
Owner management program in Lagos Business School. You were a bit quiet, and then you used to just call me to the corner and say, "So Didi, this is my plan." Now let me tell you the trip for me. All the things we spoke about, and a lot more. I understand you had a lot of experience from Dubai.
Right.
You were telling me things about real estate and how it's not done in Nigeria that you didn't like.
Right.
You were giving a lot of tips on real estate at that time. And then boom, we finished that class, got an office space. Before you know it, it has grown bigger than, I dare say, most of the real estate agency companies I know in the country.
Right.
So this is really to help not only the younger generation, it's also to help us even in the industry generally. Can you just talk through how this whole thing started? Where did you get the idea from? What was on your mind? How did you drive it all the way through to just make it happen? Because a lot of people want to make that happen. You have a lot of guys on your team, professionals, and I see the work you're doing. So just talk us through it.
Right. So I think I'll start with there's a saying I hear: if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to, is it when you go far?
Yeah, if you want to go far, go together.
Go together.
Yes.
If you want to go quick, go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
I think currently we're 72 in the team at CW right now, and
Wow.
I think I wouldn't take all the credit for it. I think we have a lot of talented people at CCW, which I really respect a lot. From the operations to the admin. I think it's been more of I'm a super delegator. I know how to delegate a lot. So what I typically do is I come up with the idea. I'm more of an idea guy. I come up with the idea. I allow them, come up with a plan.
Yeah.
A plan that can work.
Yeah.
And the truth about it is, I don't think I do accept the accolades we've got in the industry, the recognition, but then in reality is we've not achieved 10% of the things we've set out to achieve.
Wow.
We've always set our bar very, very high. And I figure that if we set it to the moon and we land somewhere in the skies, we're still better off than setting it at the ceiling of this room. So I think that's just been the approach we always take. I have a lot of ideas. I've always been an idea guy. I still have ideas that I've not executed from 10 years ago. Wow. That are still in my playbook. So I think it's a thing by working with the right team and, constantly pushing them to do different and do better. Rather, that's our tagline. Real estate difference and better. We've always tried to approach things from a different mindset.
Real estate difference and better.
Different and better. We've always had that, mindset of we're different and that difference makes us better than every other person. So I think that is just, the mindset that we have at the team, and that is what has, propelled us to where we are today and what keeps propelling us to different heights. That's it.
Super. So Didi, basically, I just want to go a little bit into luxury real estate and what we have in Lagos, Ikoyi, VI, and all of that.
Right.
Having sold I mean, I haven't had your team sell a lot of these properties. What do you really think is that game changer for a developer? What advice do you have for a developer that is trying to do the opulent, luxury type development in such locations?
Understand the market. I feel data doesn't lie. Understand the market. And I think it's very luxury, in my opinion. It's about how you make people feel, not just the aesthetics. It's how the people feel in your development. And I feel that developers that have positioned themselves for the long run, not just the quick in and out. With luxury, a lot of things might not necessarily make sense, but it just feels good. It doesn't have to make financial sense right now, but it just feels good. It's a feel good feature, and I think with luxury,
it's highly emotional.
Exactly. With luxury buyers, right, it's more about how they feel about it. The curb appeal, how they feel about it, not necessarily, does it make financial sense? So I think once you have that psyche in mind, right, and you understand the market, the sky is the limit. I mean, they're really successful developers in that space at the moment. They're doing good numbers, and it's more of a feel good. It's more of a feel factor than it's more of an emotional factor than.
So that means, I mean, hearing this, it means it even starts from the point of the design. Because if you're trying to create an emotion, you must start from, apart from even execution,
Right.
from design. One of the issues I've had with people, even from my own team, is you're trying to sell an idea, and your guys don't want to bring it into, do you understand? So you now realize that no, you probably have to do away with that team and try to just get things better. I feel that feeling starts from there. Right. But in terms of elements so that feel good now, what do you think are those elements that create that good feel?
Feel good usually starts with, I would say, the curb appeal, the views, the landscaping, what else? The lighting, the layout. I think the layout is something we usually underestimate a lot. The layout. Amenities. There's a whole range of that.
Yeah, so like high ceilings.
Definitely.
Large windows.
Extra large windows.
What do you feel as soon as you just walk into that space?
There's that space. There's that. For example, if you're looking at double volume spaces,
yes,
it gives a grandeur that you don't typically get in a place whereby it's the ceilings are layered already.
Yes.
So I feel these are all things that it's just about the feel. You go into a space and you feel it.
Yes.
The presentation of it also, if it's a completed project, the presentation also does matter. So I think the factors you can't really put a price on. It's just about the way you feel about it. And we know that the psyche of buyers is more about the feel than, the logic.
Yes. So, yes, because once they feel good about it, if they also feel like there are many people on it and you're going to lose out, that's also another thing.
FOMO too.
Because it helps you to just make sure that you sell, you can increase the prices. So just coming into like agents, I'm trying to speak to agents now.
Okay.
I mean, you're good with delegation, 70 odd.
72.
72, sorry. So you can imagine, I'm sure you've had that experience with agents and all that. You probably can tell what they can do better and all that. So with trying to sell a property as an agent, and one of the things I can see that I'm even sure some of the developers wanting you to sell for them is the way you also even present their own property.
Right.
So even for them, they'll look at it and say, I'm talking about the shooting, I'm talking about the graphics, I'm talking about the consistency, because there's a layout on some of those pages that it's the same thing. You have your floor plans, you have your fact sheets, everything you need to know. So you can see that it's really detailed. So in terms of, if you're speaking to an agent now and saying, look, you want to sell property better, you want to sell property, you want to sell properties and you want to be successful, what will be your advice?
Take yourself seriously. I feel if you take yourself seriously, people will take you seriously. Taking yourself seriously comes from a place of having the right skill, number one. I think it all starts with having the skill, first of all. Without the skill, every other thing is not going to work. Once you have the right skill, present yourself very, very well. represent. I think in this industry, there's you have to think about it from what I said earlier. If you want to go quick, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go with people. Form the right alignments, form the right relationships early. And I think those things will serve you in the long run. A lot of this friendship has been many years coming. It's not today.
Yes.
And I think you have to think about it from a perspective of this is where in a service business, and your relationships do matter. Whatever you're doing today, it's not just for today. You have to think about the next 5 years, the next 10 years. Never, there's something in the industry that I see a lot, that I've seen a lot, but it's called padding, right? Whereby someone will tell you that this is what I want, put whatever you want in it. I have never done that. And
they say this is what I want, sell it for this amount, whatever is on top.
It always sounds very, very attractive because you can make, quick flip on that. Maybe let's just use numbers. Let's say the person wants 10 naira, then telling you sell whatever you want, sell it for 18 naira, 15 or whatever. I'd never believed in that. And I feel that people that do those practices, right, whoever you sell into, whoever you sold for, whoever you sell into would have trust issues with you because they feel that whatever price you're telling them is not reflective of whatever the person really wants.
Exactly.
So it's a quick. Those are like schemes. Those are like ways people, like in the business that we are, make quick cash. They make quick cash. You can make quick buck on that, but then that is a very short-term play. And you're not thinking about the next 5 years. Because if we do business together and you tell me like, hey, I'm giving you for 10 naira, put whatever you want in it, right? Yeah. If the flip side is the case, now you want to buy from me, you're always thinking that whatever price I'm giving you.
Yes, it's just a default. You're just going to have it in your mind. That
so those are things.
Whatever you give him is
never reflective of the real price. So those are ways that I feel that if you take yourself seriously, do not engage in certain practices that I feel that are not very constructive in the long run. It might help you keep the lights on right now, but then it's going to dim your lights in the long run. That's what I feel.
Super. So, Didi, you've been involved in trying to train the next generation of agents. You've actually invited me to speak to them.
Oh, yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it because there was a big feedback from that. Till today, a couple of them are still reaching out to just say, what do you think about this? What's the brain behind that? What were you thinking?
Thanks. So the CW Academy, actually, that's what I'm wearing right now. Yeah. Okay. Right. It stemmed from just the quality in the business right now. There's not the quality. The quality in the business is the only handful of agents that I can say, this guy is really good. I like what this guy is doing.
Yes.
There's a lack of ethics.
Yes.
There is just
professionalism.
It's not really good. So it's coming from a place whereby I'm a trained SSW in Valor, right? Real estate has always been my blood right from the get-go. Everything I've done is, it's been in the same ecosystem of real estate. So it came from a place of wanting people to do better, wanting them to, and the difference between good and better might just be a lack of direction, just maybe a few information. So it was just about bridging that gap between what currently exists and where the business should be at and where we should all be at. So I think for me, it was a passion of mine. I always do. I love helping. Helping for me is something I do not naturally, right? And came from a place of it's actually free. It's a free academy. We don't charge for it. It's something whereby I feel that, hey guys, and it's usually for people that are already in the business.
So that there's some kind of pre-knowledge.
Exactly.
So it's just you want to sharpen that knowledge.
Exactly.
Where are you lacking? Who can help you?
These are the things that we're doing. These are things that we're doing in-house differently. We feel that you can adopt also to help. It helps the industry as a whole. We feel that if you're in a dark room and you have a very dim light, people will notice you. But then you're not prone to brighten your light. If everyone has light around them, then there's more competition and it's just better for the industry.
The entire space is brighter as well.
Right.
So that makes sense. Thank you for that impact. Anything that has to do with impact, it means a lot to us. So another question is that something always goes around this whole overpricing, so to speak. And I feel it's a topic to come at. I feel the people talking about it are not professional enough to even be able to tell us certain things. But what is your view about the so-called overpricing? And the extension of that is we hear that some houses stay empty. I mean, the ones that are developed in Ikoyi don't stay empty. So I don't really know what, but they say some stay empty because they're trying to hold cash or they're trying to do well. So what's your view? I mean, to me, I know you're an expert in those areas. So what's your view on the overpricing? And then we can take it from there.
Thank you for that question. This is something that I hear all the time. Houses are overpriced. But I feel it's important to compare apples with apples, right? And pricing, something called the open market value, it's based off a willing buyer and a willing seller over a 6-month period of time, giving no special interest. Now, from that perspective, the forces of demand and supply is always at play. When you have a market whereby there's a demand for a certain type of assets, and there's not enough supply for it, your prices are bound to it's just basic demand and supply.
Clear. There's nothing.
In my opinion, do I think it's overpriced? Relatively. But that comes from the fact that there's not enough supply of this asset class. Or let's use the word prime asset classes, like luxury prime in Ikoyi. There's a scarcity for it, and the demand is a lot.
So you can have like 10 people looking for one property.
The demand is a lot. Everyone wants. So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
There's something that we do. Properties like that we call on top of the funnel, right? If you advertise a property, a top of the funnel property, right, you can get like 1,001 leads for it. And people can actually afford it. Very peanut size. But then you do get everyone demands that waterfront luxury condo. Everyone wants the property with the best views. And Nigeria has a population for it. There's a lot of people. A lot of people. So you have the demand is a lot. Over 200 million people, everyone wants to stay in the same.
Yes.
If you think of it, where would you like to live? Ikoyi.
Yes. Even if you don't have the money, you want to live there. So there's already a high demand.
And Ikoyi is a very small place. Right?
Yes.
And even in Ikoyi also, right, there's only a handful of people building real luxury. There's only a handful of people building real luxury apartments, right? And the demand for it is a lot. So I guess to answer your question, is it overpriced? I think relatively. But if there was more supply, I think things would balance out.
Regulated. Yeah.
Things would balance out.
Okay. And the whole talk of empty houses and all that, I mean, you guys do a lot of sales. I mean, what do you really think is driving that, if that is anything at all?
I don't, when you say empty houses, right, I think let's not forget the fundamentals. Real estate is a store of value. It's always been a store of value. A lot of people, get cash, and the first thing they think about is it's also very cultural for us in Africa.
Yeah.
In Africa, once you make money, the first thing you think about is two things. You want to buy a house, you want to buy a car. Those are like the two things you achieve once you make some money. Clothing, feeding, those are like primary. You don't really need to have money to do those, right? And so it's a store of value. Given the fact that it's a store of value, right? Someone buying just merely for capital appreciation. These are things that we've culturally grown to believe and culturally know to be true. In a place where the demand keeps rising every day, you know that even if you're a novice, the mere fact that you're buying a property at this price this year, you're guaranteed knowing the demand is not winning anytime soon. Knowing that the next year, the next 2 years, that store of value for you is going to increase. And if a wealthy man, for example, buys a property, right, he doesn't see the necessary need to collect what some people might think is a lot of money. The rents are really expensive now.
Yes.
But then if your sole purpose is for capital appreciation, right, and you know that if it's tenanted, it never sells at the same price as, if especially in the luxury space, right?
Yes.
You want something new, something fresh, something crisp. You might leave it vacant. We've seen those situations. a lot of times.
Particularly if you're also looking at it as a store of wealth. So
It's
I
a
just
store of
want to
wealth.
hold my money.
I just want to hold my money.
So,
I'm not
the
really
rent
bothered
doesn't
about.
mean anything to me.
I
But
bought an apartment $3.6 million. You won't offer me $120,000 a year. I mean, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But then for someone at that level, even for $3.6 million in the first place,
he might even
your
be thinking of the stress of the
your
tenants,
120K
all
is
of that
not
stuff.
is not really a factor for him to see that. So yeah.
Okay. So that explains it. Now there's a thing that there was a day I was trying to think back and think about how there's been a lot of exposure. There's been more exposure, more influx of newer designs that look like outside Nigeria, right? Into Ikoyi, VI, and one of the days I was also trying to prep my team, trying to get a lot of guys to sort of like train them on making sure that we have better designs and all that. And one thing that struck me, it was the day I was trying to go through some of your. It looks like you have like an exclusive selection of projects
for new developments.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me just break. Let me just.
I'd like to hear.
Let me just. So one thing I didn't mention was because we think for the long haul, right? So we're kind of we have 5 major departments at the firm, right? So we have the new development marketing, which is pretty much the off-plan arm, right? And there are agents that are specialized towards that only. All they do is new developments, off-plan sales, nothing more. We have the commercial aspect. The C is called CWC Commercial. We have agents that are specialized toward commercial only because we've had a very big, I think over 400% increase in leads for commercial over the last 2 years. It's been the demand for commercial.
So what kind of commercial space? Just
from your malls to industrial to a tiny shop space to a corporate office. We handle it all.
It's funny you mentioned that because the mall sold out in a very short time.
Yes, the demand for commercial it's at an all-time high. I don't know what is driving it, but then it's the demand. We enjoy it. We've done a lot of commercial deals, and it's our second best performing arm at the moment.
Wow,
the commercial
from
club spaces, restaurants.
Do you really see most of that? Lekki, VI.
Most of our core specialization are in 3 areas: Victoria Island, Lekki Phase 1, and Ikoyi.
Perfect.
Those kind of like where our specialty lies. Lies at, and we just did a deal. That was yesterday for a new club space coming soon. We've done, I think, about 4 clubs now, about 4 clubs. We just did a new deal yesterday. And
so most agents haven't looking towards that section at all.
Yeah, so we just did that. We just did that deal, and it's a very, very good deal for, both. We represented both parties in that deal. That was a very good deal. Restaurant spaces. We've seen a lot of business that are trying to sell their businesses. There's a rooftop restaurant that we do have right now in a very prime location. The owner is looking to exit, so we're representing that also. So
are you buying the business, or are they trying to sell the business, or they are just trying to sell the space?
So I think we're open to 2 models. We're looking at either is someone that is into like the financial space and doesn't have time to manage them. So he's looking at 2 options, right? Either an operator comes and operates it, fully hands-on and just, remit some cash through, or someone just comes and take up the entire business as a whole and just, paying rent on it. Yes. So either model, we're open to explore both models. So that is just on the commercial end. So that is the second one. And we have square meters. Square meter deals with just land, JVs, and whatnot. We do have that is our best performing arm, by the way. That's our best performing arm, square meters. So we've been involved land and JV. So we've been involved in, I think, over in the prime areas we cover in just 2025 alone. We've been involved in about 17, if I'm not mistaken, about 17,000 square meters of transactions in the core areas. Last year, we were involved in over 40,000 square meters of land sales. And that is on retail, and that is not like, and the biggest being maybe just about, say, 6,000 square meters. That means multiple deals.
Yeah. 6,000 square meters in these areas.
We did. We've done in this year. We've done quite. I think about 17,000 square meters so far because we track those numbers, right? And I think we're on track to do way more than last year from the deals in the pipeline right now. So I think very optimistic about that.
Okay.
So that's for square meters. Then we have CW, which is what most people do know about. That's just luxury residentials, sales transactions, sales transactions. Then we do have the short-term letting the apartment, which is called short stays.
Okay.
Short stay. We have 36 units under management with short stays. We're looking to ramp up, that because we just got new hires to hopefully, get that place rolling. Okay. So you can see there are 5 arms. Mm-hmm. So that is, we believe in specializing in, and the agents that cover this for these different brands or departments are specialized on these brands only. So
they get a contact on something else, they probably just pass it on.
You just put in the CRM and assign it to someone else. Assign it to someone else. But we're dealing with HNIs don't like dealing with multiple people. So I would typically handle that, or maybe one of the senior partners will simply handle that and can handle, everything for them. So that.
I mean, that's like, I'm not sure anybody's doing it like this. But I mean, that's unique
different.
In itself. It's different.
And better.
That's what you said. Different and better.
Yeah.
So what took me to the, what did you call that? New development. What took me there is that when I was now trying to do my research, that was a very good place to start the research from. Why? Because I could see evidently the new next set of designs coming into that area. So we want to do something in Blue Waters Okunde area, that entire area that just Sandfield.
Okay.
12 floors, 14 floors facing themselves. So, trying to get the designs to the ground. And it was nice to see that this is what is coming up in Lagos. So my question is going to, what do you think about innovation so far as compared to, say, like 5 years ago? And what do you think is driving it, particularly in terms of design and implementation? This is like seeing things that are equivalent to what you see in Miami, what you see in the Dubai. It will take me to a question about your Dubai experience, but what do you think is a factor for this change? Is it exposure? Is it new kids in the block that have good design sense? Is it people that have come from the diaspora and probably studied there and understand? What do you think is a factor?
So I think it's a factor, but I said there's some cultural peculiarities with Nigeria as a whole, right? Real estate in Nigeria is deeply entrenched. You make money, the first thing you do is you want to buy a home. It's kind of a thing where we just do as Nigerians. And now there's more money in real estate than there's ever been. A lot of money has been pouring since COVID. A lot of money has been pouring into real estate for the last 5 years. So one thing is there's more money in the system for real estate developments, right? With that, with more money comes, with more wealth in any industry comes better innovation.
Yes.
Now, you have serious industry players, that have come up with certain very peculiar buildings, particularly on Borderline.
Exactly.
That kind of set the benchmark for what things
it's coming
be
next.
like.
Yes.
Be like.
Number 4 is one very major.
I was referring to number 4. I think it kind of set the benchmark for a lot of developers and whatnot in the industry. And with that, I feel that we've seen a lot of, and it brought in a different model into the space also, whereby a contractor is actively invested in a project, not just in a contractor actively invested in a project. We've seen the likes of, for example, a top tier contractor right now would be Kappa. Kappa also is currently actively involved in their own developments. The likes of 10QD, they have another project coming on right on Borderline. So we've seen the model has shifted a bit just from contractors just being, contractors to actually funding also and being, taking a better position in that process.
Yeah.
And I said with more money, a change in mindset, it's bound to happen. It's definitely bound to happen. And also, let's not forget, buyers are becoming a lot more discerning. Buyers want more. Luxury buyers want more. They definitely want more. They're gone are the days of you back in, like say, when we entered the business and like say 15 years ago, just the location of the matter. Just build in Ikoyi.
Doesn't matter what you do.
Let it be tall. You're going to exactly
basic.
So now buyers are, there are definitely more options. So buyers are more discerning. Buyers are definitely more discerning, and the developers themselves too. I think they're pretty much, the competition is a lot. So they're trying to attract the limited amount of buyers with.
So they have to start thinking outside the box.
Giving more amenities. There's a new development that I really, really like on George Street. By an amazing developer to now they're pretty much putting, it's a nine floors. It's in 2,000 square meters, nine floors. It's a mid-entry project. It's more like a boutique project, but they're putting the amenities, the pool, everything, they literally have everything. They have a crash. They have infinity pool on the rooftop. They have a concierge. They have what else? A sauna, cold plunge room. They have so many massage. They have a lot of hotel grade amenities in that space also. So the buyers are becoming a lot more discerning, hence the developers are becoming more creative and offering better
competition as well. So it's helping. I mean that's healthy competition, just helping the market.
Right.
So say for instance, you're speaking to a developer that wants to start sort of a luxury project, multiple floors, sort of those areas like Eco Atlantic, VI, Okunde area. What would you say should be that tick list for success? What do you say they should continue to sort of look at to just aim for that high end point? Because one of the mistakes that are being made is that some of the developers don't even consult.
Right.
You guys are in the market. You're seeing 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 developments at the same time.
Right.
The developer is probably just looking up stuff, and you're not just seeing it, you are in them, meaning you're able to know exactly what they did. Look at the information about what you just said about a very nice development in George Street. So what would you say are those tips? This would be, just to round up, what would you say are those tips that you give to property developers right now in terms of trying to do those sort of developments? What to look out for?
Build for the market. Build for the market that you want to sell for. Understand this, not everyone, I think the word luxury is always loosely used, right? Nigeria is a very big population, and with all the studies that have been said, we're still in a deficit. And the luxury market in quotes, it is only a few people that I would say are actually building luxury. I feel, in my opinion, rather than build luxury, maybe focus on maybe boutique developments, highly curated, small developments on small lots, maybe 1,000 square meters, 2,000 square meters, that offers you, those same amenities or similar amenities that you would get in maybe a 4B, a Belmonte, and whatnot, small developments. If you look at Nigeria as a whole, right from time, the idea of fragmenting things is kind of like what makes it sells. Let me explain that to you. You hardly see, aside from Eco Atlantic, whereby you have really big parcels, really, really, really big blocks.
Yes.
Most of the development in the entire stretch is usually fragmented. It's been fragmented as small as 500 square meters, 1,000 square meters, small fragmentations.
Yes.
So the wealth that we do have in this country, there's a lot of wealth. It trickles down it kind of trickles down. So people usually don't have that, big purchasing power, but they can purchase things.
Yes.
Everyone has an eye taste, but they can purchase things in small lots.
Yes.
So that's why the most successful estates and whatnot, the lot size is usually 500 square meters, 1,000 square meters. So land is heavily fragmented. Now, in the same vein, right, if you look at the whole idea of having a big complex and whatnot, it sounds grand, sounds nice and all that. But I feel the best developers that I do know, right, the developers that they understand the power of just, small developments, small boutique style developments. I can give you different adding condos. There's so many of them, highly successful. So all goes down to understand your market, understand who you're selling to. It's very, very important. And speak to, obviously, industry experts, understand who you're selling to. You don't have to, rather than doing, in my opinion, rather than doing, say, a developer that doesn't have that capacity,
yes.
rather than going, say, 14 floors and whatnot, right? Why don't you do two smaller projects? So why don't you do two smaller pro projects? I think you might, maybe that developer might see better success in that than doing that. Understanding your finances. I mean, for developers, it's a numbers game. It's about them. It's a numbers game. Plus, the development is just who has more money, who has more money, and who has the best concept. Understand your finances. Very, very important. Understand your finances. That is very, very key.
Yeah.
Because I've seen developments also whereby you could have been way more profitable if you had done less than if you had done more.
I agree.
Choose a market. If you're developing mass housing for everyone, do that. If you're developing mid-end houses, do that. If you're developing luxury homes, focus on that. Just choose a market. And if you want to play in all segments, that is fine. Just differentiate with different brands.
Okay, super. Didi, thanks a lot. This was good information for those that, developers trying to do stuff moving forward. Finally, we had the dirty December thing, and then I don't know how the data was, it's just everybody talking. I'm sure you guys must have had some data. Do you have anything to say about how that experience was? Were there really sales as at that time for you guys? Do you really think that really worked? What do you think that wave is happening to real estate? What do you think that wave is doing to real estate in Lagos, moving forward?
So I think
I just round up with that.
Prior to that report coming out, right? Any professional in the real estate space knows that the Ember months are kind of like odd seasons. It's nothing new. It's been the case 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's always been in the case. But it might be that obviously that's what data does. A report comes out now and everyone is all. Ember months have always been very, very hard for the property market. We even at CCW we ensure that no one takes leaves, never falls around, because those are like the biggest deals you will typically close most times usually come around the Ember months. I think there's a lot of emotional attachment, especially from the diaspora. Everyone is coming back home in that period, so there's always influx of nice USD coming into the country. So I think it's. We always try to ride out that wave. One of the markets that I feel always enjoys the best would be luxury residential sales, and also the short-term rentals. The short-term rentals. You have people that book in, from June already for December or whatnot. So I think it's the report. I totally agree with it, and I think it came in at the right time. It's always been the case.
Yeah, great, Didi. Thanks a lot. A lot of good insights. A lot of even for me. I could pick a couple of things from there, and I can see that great job you guys are doing. You just know that a lot of people are watching. So and it's very nice to hear that that's just 10% of the plan. So you can imagine less than 10% of the plan. So you can imagine where we're going to. Thank you so much for being on the roundtable. We're going to be having some more rounded conversations with different professionals in the room, moving forward. Right. Obviously, we'll be glad to have you as part of it. So thank you so much for coming around.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.